So that you never make it, hopeless so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like Lysosin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision and pay me, it's never to sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning, it's crazy. Opportunity, your opportunity. Your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, it's your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.
Yeah, welcome all, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know if you can hear me with a big thumbs up in the comments right now. My name is Russell Wayne, and this is the Lion Villain Report. It is Lions versus Vikings Eve. That's what we're calling today's show right there. And right now we are broadcasting live into the Lions Villain Squad Facebook page. We are 25 people away from hitting 56,000 villains in there. Thank you so much for everybody that likes, subscribes, follows, shares, comments, engages in any way on any of our content, because you're helping us get to where we want to go. We are live on YouTube right now at Lions Villain Squad, as well as the JC Sports Network. We're live on Detroit Lions News Podcast right now. Thank you to Joe Chap and the boys. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a Joe Chap up in here today, but I've sent some invites out. I wanted to make this a little smorgasbord on Lions versus Vikings Eve. And if you don't know already, the villains are the UDFA of sports podcasting. So you do help our network by liking, sharing, and commenting on there. That's how you can help us get to where we want to go. We're the UDFA. We don't have any big corporate sponsorships, but we are affiliate marketing partners with NFL Shop. You can use that QR code right there, or you can use the link that I'm about to put into the comments right now to save up to 30% off. And when you use our link, you are supporting our page, and we thank you for that. It's faith, family, and then football in that order We use football to spend time with our family. We use football to create memories. We don't let football use us. And our stars program, my beautiful wife right there, we just had our anniversary yesterday. And she's an advocate for autism awareness. And she is out there sharing resources to parents that have children with special needs. So if you comment using stars, you are helping my wife be a better advocate for autism awareness. So we appreciate that. So welcome everybody to the show. I want to say hello to everybody up in the comments so far right there. Good morning to you, Davey.
Say hello to my little friend.
That's right. Davey, good morning. Paul Jones, good morning.
Say hello to my little friend.
And you can hear it loud and clear. See, this is my podcasting machine, so it may even have some girth and some depth to it right there. I like having my microphone right there, loud and clear. So I appreciate you right there. Elise Memes up in the house. She's one of our supervillains right there. She's out there creating content for us and putting it up on the page and getting that name out there. And congratulations to Stephen Michael for, he grew over 1,000 followers and in like the last 28 days. He was invited to the In Streams ads program. So we appreciate you being part of our supervillain cast as we continue to push each other up. And that's how the UDFAs work right there. We're just putting in the hard work, but we're banding together and creating great Lions content. I'm out here every day being live with you guys with the Villain Report at 10 a.m. every day. Main Event Mike is putting content up every day. Steven's putting content up every day. And we all pull together and we're helping each other with the pages. And I'm so happy to know that Facebook is finally paying you what you're worth. Stephen Michael, congratulations, sir, as you continue your journey in making a living on Facebook right there. And the common topic for this week has been the trading. We lost our star pass rusher. We have a lot of things on our mind. We got the Vikings. We're heading into Minnesota. And the Vikings are right there for us. Good morning to you, Brian. What's up? Good morning to Leslie. Good morning. Good morning to Scotty Reno. Happy anniversary. Thank you. Thank you for the happy anniversary. Good morning to you, Shelly. Good morning to you, Maurice. I'm glad that we got some football conversationalists in here. And I know that we've been talking about these same things, but it's like, that's what's out there. That's what the people want to talk about when it comes with how are we going to replace Aiden Hutchinson? And the popular answer to that is you're not. You can't replace Aiden Hutchinson. What you have to do is figure out a way to replace the snaps. And, he played 90% of the snaps. So they're going to have to divvy out those snaps between probably 3 or 4 different people. And that's the way it's going to be in here. No trade or no trade. We've talked about the trades ad nauseum on here. We know what's realistic. What's realistic is there's 0 things out in free agency right now, as to be expected. We're week 7 in the NFL. Every good pass rusher is off the market right now. And then there comes the side of who are we going to trade for? Well, you can trade for some people that'll help you in that and creating roles. And there's a couple people that you could, quote unquote, sell the farm for.
We're going to buy the kneecap off
and maybe replace the production of Aiden Hutchinson. And I don't mind any of those talks. I just say, I wouldn't be surprised because the way that they extend players, you know, I don't know why the timing came out like that. They extended the lean the day after the injury, but I think that sends a loud message that they do believe in the guys that are on the roster right now. Not to replace Aiden Hutchinson. They're going to have to change the way that they play defense. I mean, you have to put a scheme together that doesn't have Aiden Hutchinson in it. The defensive line, the defense may even look completely different. And that's okay. You got a good defensive coordinator. You got great talent on defense. You're just going to have to shuffle people around a little bit and figure out what works. You have a high-end back end. Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch might be two of the best in the NFL together. So you have strengths on this team, and I believe that when it comes to Aaron Glenn and the way that he'll scheme he'll scheme it in a way that lines up with the strengths of this team. And right now, that back end is a strength. The linebacker core is a strength, even with the minus of Derek Barnes. I mean, the role players have came up and played well. Even the practice squad guys are good with the linebackers. Lions are deep at linebacker. So maybe they'll lean on speed. Maybe they'll attack a little bit differently. Maybe he'll move the defense around a little bit that does fit a James Houston type of play style. Right now, before you had James Houston, James Houston is somebody that's been on everybody's mind, like, hey, we need to get this guy out there because he can rush the passer. And they've been having him be healthy scratches, and he hasn't really played that much this year. Well, now he's going to get an opportunity. Get a full week of practice in. So what do you think of like what James Houston could do? It might be nothing. But then again, you may have to change the defensive schematics to work with the players that you have right now. And James Houston's like a square peg in a round hole. You know, he's one of those outside linebacker type of jack linebackers. Edge rushing specialist. You don't ask him to do much outside of that if you have that type of defense, like the 3-4 type of defense where you have 4 linebackers instead of 3 linebackers. That's what James Houston should be playing. That's the type of defense he should be playing. Will Aaron Glenn switch the defense around a little bit? Because we got good big men. You know, Josh Paschal may not be your traditional 4-3 end, but in a 3-4, he plays the role of a big end well, rushing from the interior. So maybe they switch around the schematics of it. If Jeremy's in here already, he's probably already corrected me on it. Oh, right there. NFL Shop. You can use that link right there. And you can save up to 30% off your order, getting anything in there. Even if you're a Bear fan, you could use that link and just go to the Bears page if you want to. Thank you, Paul, on the happy anniversary. I appreciate it. You like that? Thank you. And Scotty Reno. You like that? I know I already said that for you, but I miss you, Scotty Reno. Leslie, good morning. Brian, what's up? Lions W from Donald. You like that? I'm liking that. Good morning, Nick. Nick McClin in the house. Fred Peterson's in the house. Good morning. It's a great day to be a Lion. We're roaming the jungle right now. What do you think of? Okay, so we're minus Aiden Hutchinson. I'm trying to gauge you guys right here on your. Are you panic level right now with this? And like I don't know. I think that they do need to make a move somewhere in there. And it isn't just because of Aiden Hutchinson, because we've had this discussion, because they were thinking about making a trade when you lost Marcus Davenport and you've lost John Kaminsky and you've lost Aiden Hutchinson and you've lost Derek Barnes. So it's not just one guy. So I'm not a big proponent, and you know that if you've watched what I'm talking about, the at any rate. I mean, on here every day. I believe in Brad Holmes. So if you've watched me at any point in time for any extended period of time, you know that I believe in this draft and develop style that they had. When they lost Davenport, I believe in Josh Pascal, because he's a guy that Brad Holmes brought in here. I believe in Levi Onwuzurike. I believe that these are the type of players that rise to the occasion. It's going to look different. It's going to look different, but with Aleem McNeil and DJ Reader sitting right next to each other, Josh Pascal has been playing better. I like this bigger setup right here. I don't know. It could be something nice, but they need to go out and get something. I do believe that. You know, I think that you might be able to get something out of James Houston now. But then again, I don't want to count on that. You got Zadarius Smith out in the public saying that he would love to come to the Lions and wreck the other NFC North teams, the Vikings and the Packers. I mean, he's the type of guy that I think would be good. And when you're talking about the high-end guys, because here's where I believe that the tiers are at. You know, you got the Crosby and Myles Garrett pipe dream. Oh, wow. I'm salivating at the mouth at the thought of that. I'm salivating at the mouth at the thought of that. Like when I came on here 2 weeks ago and I'm saying that is nonsense that they would even be thinking about Max Crosby. Like it's nonsense. You need a willing partner. It's nonsense. That's what I was saying. It's nonsense. But then Max Crosby comes out and says some stuff like he said. I mean, he's the type of guy, like a couple of weeks ago, he's like, I'm a Raider for life. I don't want to leave here. And then he comes out and says some like questionable stuff. And he pointed that out there. He knew what he was doing. That was on purpose. And you just, I mean, if I'm Max Crosby, I'm probably feeling the same way. Like, what are you guys doing? You going to trade Devontae Adams in the middle of the season? Talk about giving up on your team. It's like, how you expect me to believe in this franchise now? That you're going to actually have building blocks, that you're actually going to try to move forward. Max Crosby's probably like, I want to get out of here now. You guys weren't truthful to me. You let Amik Robertson go. Team can't tackle. Get me out of here. I want to win. I want to go somewhere and win. So that thought of that has got me salivating at the mouth. You figure out the money stuff later. You're telling me we have a chance to have 2 out of the top 5 pass rushers in the NFL on the same defensive line? I mean, forget this year. Think about next year. You still got Aiden Hutchinson under contract. You just extended Aleem McNeil. You got DJ Reader under contract. And you're telling me we have a chance to have Aiden Hutchinson and Max Crosby coming off the edge? What's that going to cost? Send over a couple ones. We've been over this as far as like what we have on our cap. The team that's here right now is signed. I mean, most of them are signed right here through 2026, all these guys. I mean, they don't even have the David Montgomery thing worked in here yet. Do they? Okay, yeah, they do. Yes, they do. But look at all these guys, man. They have all these guys signed through 2026. It's not like we're going to go into a draft and go, oh my God, we need blah, 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 blah. Shoot, this year, if we didn't have such a dying need at cornerback, it's like you're not counting on any of the players to start for the Lions ever. Like coming in the next couple of years, you draft a guy in the first round, he might not start. Where's it going to go? Where's it going to start? He ain't starting on the O-line. He ain't starting as tight end. He ain't starting at running back. He ain't starting at quarterback. And now that you got your cornerbacks in there, you got a depth chart. Even if you lost Carlton Davis, he ain't starting cornerback. Nope, you got to make right. You got 3 cornerbacks. No, he ain't starting there. Kirby, you needed safety. No, we're 3 deep at safety. He ain't starting there. Linebackers, no, we got linebackers. We got Anzalone, Campbell. Like, you ain't starting there. We just signed Aleem McNeil. We got DJ Reader. You ain't starting a D tackle. Hutchinson coming back. Got Crosby. Ain't starting there. So they're not starting anywhere. Future draft picks right now. We have officially hit F them picks mode. Honestly, think about it. We have arrived as Lion fan. Here we are. We have arrived. We have arrived with Brad Holmes. It's after the 4th draft, going into the 5th draft. We are in F those picks mode. It's not that we don't need the picks. You obviously want to build the depth of your franchise. But first round picks start in the NFL. That's kind of where people are at. Okay. Well, I may need to crack this lineup. Let's get a pass rusher. If you need to offer 2 first-round picks to get Max Crosby or Myles Garrett, get it done. Get it done. You're not going to need the picks. Not in the immediate future. Maybe my 2027 pick. I need to get some first round talent. I need to get the price of my team down. But we got a lot of guys on rookie contracts right now. And we don't know which ones are the ones that they're gonna keep. You can't keep everybody. You guys are with me on that. Yes, Leslie's with me. Fred says that he's not in panic mode. Even if we lose this game, we fight for the division, playoffs, Super Bowls are not over. The Vikings are just another obstacle in the way. I agree with you. I don't think we should be in panic mode either. I'm trying to help you. If there's anybody that's in panic mode just because of the loss of Hutchinson, you don't know how this team's built. The team's built to we're one. We are one as a team. You know, the next man up mentality only works when it's like this. These guys fight for each other. No panic. Elise no panic here. We don't need to panic. This nonsense that's out there right now. I mean, I love these ultimatums. I've heard this a lot on the other podcasts. I've heard a lot of people creating these ultimatums. Oh, Brad, don't go out and do something. Then they're dumb and they're squandering. It's not like that. It's not like that. This team will fight. This team will fight, especially if there's a chance. If it's 4 to 6 months, the Super Bowl's in 4 months. I bet you that within 2 months, I'm thinking by the end of the year, they're already going to be talking about how Hutchinson's working out and the rehab's going good 2 months into it. Oh my gosh, he might be able to get back early. They're going to start hearing that right around Christmas time. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, look at Aiden Hutchinson.
You like that?
He might come back early. Oh my gosh.
You like that?
Don't kill the messenger. Oh, don't force him back. Don't do it. I'm not forcing him back. I'm just telling you what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen. Sheila's on my side. Get Crosby. Go get him. I'm going to show you the numbers. I showed you the numbers. Look at this. You're looking in 2026. Under contract in 2026 with $25 million in cap space. The Lions have Goff, Ragnow, Decker, Sewell, Anzalone, McNeil, Montgomery, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Gibbs, Jack Fox, Campbell, Glasgow, Terrion Arnold, Sam Laporta, Brian Branch, Brock Wright, Hendon Hooker, Broderick Martin, Ennis Rakestraw, Mackay Wingo. You're going to draft 7 players every year? They're not going to make the team. Lions have officially hit F them picks mode. Let's win some Super Bowls. Let's freaking go. If you have a chance to get Max Crosby or Myles Garrett, run. Well, I mean, is there there's no trade machine, you know? We don't just like do these things and it's just like poof, trade. Well, we just get the trade because we want to trade. We want it really bad. We're just give you all our picks. I don't think that Brad's going to go get a bad deal on it. I don't think that he'd give him 3 first-round picks. But if they did, what would you do? If they pulled him Mike Valenti from the 97 won a ticket, said 3 first-round picks. I'd give 3 first-round picks for Crosby. Would you do it? Would you do it? I mean, I would think that was a lot. But if it happened and then Max Crosby's on our team, you kick those contracts over to and make it work, money man. Make it work. Because his contract that right now the Lions are sitting at $27 million in cap space. And that's after the Aleem McNeil extension. Got a $5 million cap number this year. It went they only used like $1 million with it, but that's another nice thing right there. That's a pretty high cap number for the first year of a contract. But Larry says maybe 2 first, 3 is wild. Our window is going to be open for a few more years, though. Larry, but the thing is F those picks. I mean, 3 is wild. I don't think they do it for a 3. I don't think that it's going to be done like that because Max Crosby wants out. They want to get value out of the pick. I think that 2 is it'll be 2 and probably a different pick too, or maybe a player. But I don't think that you want to throw Hendon Hooker into that deal. But Davey's right there. And this is what we're talking about right here. This is what we're talking about. With Crosby, we get 3 Super Bowls. The thing is like you make the money work. So here's 2 things that are going to happen. Let's say you bring in Crosby. You're making the money work, right? You make the money work for Crosby, And you can make that money work, because we're sitting right here at $27 million in cap space. And the other thing is like there's a lot of dead cap that would be on the Raiders side that we don't care about. As Lion fan, we don't care. I don't care what your problems are now. You're the one that signed a bad contract. You're the one that needs to rebuild your team when, you went all in when you weren't that good. That's paying the piper right there. If they're going to rebuild it from the studs, just get some draft picks and then move on. If I'm Crosby, I'm pissed. Just go trade the best offensive player on the team. I know that he was faking an injury, but whatever. Whatever. Crosby wants to get out of there. He wants to come win a Super Bowl. And really, when it comes with a player like that, that's a cornerstone player. If the Raiders are stupid enough to trade him, and that is stupid, if they trade Max Crosby for, really, 2 first-round picks, 3 first-round picks, you are stupid. I would say that the mentality fits the haircut. Come on. You're going to trade Max Crosby? Yeah, we'll take the spoils of that. Last year, Montez Sweat is available. Oh, I wouldn't pay more than a 3rd-round pick for Montez Sweat. We don't know. So the Bears come in. They offer a 2. Oh, my God, I can't believe you overpaid. You put, and now look at it. You think the Bears give a shit that they gave a 2nd-round pick now? That they got Montez Sweat? You don't got to wonder. You ain't got to make that pick and hope that he turns out. Montez Sweat's a beast. Sweat is a beast. But that would be nothing in comparison. Nothing in comparison to having Aiden Hutchinson and Max Crosby rushing bookends for the next 3 years. Remember that? You remember all that talk that we were having about, oh, what are they going to do? We need a pass rusher opposite Hutchinson. What are we going to do? No more talk like that. We ain't even looking for an end in the draft no more.
You like that?
Come on. If you got a chance to get Max Crosby, you go get Max Crosby. And that's without even talking about this game. This game that won't have, even if they make a trade, it's not like he's going to be ready tomorrow. Like if they made a trade today. So we have to, Lion fan, we have to.
We're going to bite the kneecap off.
We have to face the 5-0 Vikings without Aiden Hutchinson. That's a foregone conclusion. That has to be done. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out. And I love the fact that the trade deadline isn't for a couple more weeks. That's good. That's good because, all of the slappies like me, and I even believe that I'm called the P word by a couple of the sportscasters because I'm like, next man up. Yes, I'm a next man up kind of guy because the thing is you can't force people to trade to you. I just want your good players, but I don't want to trade. What if they don't want to trade? I showed you the list of free agency. There's nothing. There's nothing that we're going to be able to get out there that's going to help this team out in free agency. So you have to make a trade if you're going to do it right there. But if there's nobody to trade with and they don't get anything done on the trade, but you have to deal with what you have. Oh, we can't win. I don't know. We have no idea what this defense is going to look like with Aaron Glenn here. He's got a whole bunch of talent to work with in this. He's got a whole bunch of talent. And here's my honest opinion on the Vikings. They're not unbeatable. They're the a very beatable 5-0 team. Especially with the way that the Lions play. When it comes with the style, let's go with that style, that Brian Flores style. Now, this is a better Minnesota team than last year. There is no doubt about that. They are 5-0 for a reason. This is not fool's gold here. These Vikings are for real. And part of it is the Brian Flores scheme, the scheme on defense, where it's like this disguise thing. They're going to show you like they're going to do a jailhouse blitz like almost every time. They lead the league in showing, a full jailhouse blitz. They lead the league in sending everybody, sending the house, sending more guys than you have the block, which does leave guys wide open, by the way. But it does confuse because every once in a while they also lead the league in sending 7 back in coverage. So that's how they do it. They come up on the line and they always look like they're going to send the house. I don't know if you'll notice it. You watch it on Sunday. They'll put 7 guys. They'll put them all up on the line of scrimmage like they're going to do it right before they hike the ball. Sometimes they'll drop 4 of those guys right back into coverage and send 3. It's brilliant the way that he does it. He's got way better people now. He's got way better players to fit that scheme. Van Ginkel, Grenard. Now Cashman's not going to play. But and then they drafted Dallas Turner. And on the back, and they even got, the Stephon Gilmore, which is something that the Lion fans were clamoring for. He's just sitting out there in free agency, and they finally just pick him up. He's been playing at a very high level. So this is not some cupcake kind of team, but I think the Lions can beat them because of the way that we play. The way that they've won their games is they get out. Their defense forces mistakes, and they get out to a lead, and then they hold on to the lead. They get out to like a 3-score lead, and it's just too much to come back from. So you got to limit mistakes on this team. And I think that running the football should be the kryptonite on these guys. I mean, they do have one of the highest, best running defenses in the league, but part of that has to do with the fact that you're up by 3 scores and teams ain't running on you. They're not running anymore. They're all trying to pass to catch up. So Minnesota has not played in a close game yet. They get out to these leads and they're not put under the stress. The Lions are going to put them under stress. I have a hard time believing that they're going to be able to just shut this offense down. I mean, you may be able to force some mistakes. I mean, the Lions may be in a turnover game here, but Minnesota plays in that turnover type of game. Can Sam Darnold win a game if they get behind? I mean, I don't know. I think that the Lions have a very good chance in this game. Elise says, happy sweetest day to the sun god. See you next Sunday. So Elise is ready. And by the way, she applied for that personal masseuse job, and she hasn't heard back, Amon-Ra. So she's hoping to get an answer here soon. And yes, we appreciate it.
By the power of Ra.
Crosby would fit perfectly on the D, all grit, baby. Crosby would be amazing. And you know what? I wasn't entertaining any of these trade ideas until Hutchinson got injured. When Hutchinson got injured, it changes the game. You know, when it's Davenport, I mean, I would have been good not going and getting anybody for the rest of the season and running with it. You lost Kaminsky, you lost Davenport, that's fine. But now Hutchinson on top of it, I do believe they'll make some kind of move. And if it's big like this, that would be crazy. And Crosby, while Hutchinson is out, I think that his talent level, I think that he can be right there where Hutchinson was. You know, even if it's close, then it's going to be great. But I don't think Crosby's ever been on a defense that he could be next to that's got like a Lee McNeil and a DJ Reader. You know, we got some dogs on the line, and Crosby would fit perfectly. You're right. I don't know who to get. Nothing is guaranteed. Yep. Regardless, we do need help, but I am not willing to bet the future on one player. I'm not willing to give up many key pieces of the future for one player that could help us now. Max Crosby is a different deal. This is a different animal. You know, one player, it's different. Like when you're drafting players, it's almost like you're betting, right? You're betting on this player. You're hoping that the development and everything, he can reach the potential and do all that stuff. Max Crosby's a finished product. And like Dan Campbell says, he's type of, I mean, I don't know if there's ever been a time where the two top 5 pass rushers were on the same team. I can't think of anything like that. So this opportunity, this window right here, giving up a lot of draft capital, this is the type of player that it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. I mean, you're getting that, you're solving the pass rushing problem for the next 4 years because you're going to extend Hutchinson too. Now, you're probably not going to keep this player, a Max Crosby or even Myles Garrett. You're probably not going to keep them past the contract that they're already on because you're going to pay Hutchinson. You're not going to pay this guy. But having both of them in there, I mean, you got 2 guys that you're not going to run rotations on anymore. You know, you had Hutchinson and then you have a rotation on the other side. Well, if you have Hutchinson and Crosby, you got 2 guys that will probably play 80 to 90% of the snaps, which changes your roster configuration too. You can stock up in other positions because you got your guys. You got your guys. I don't want a chance. I don't want a chance for a Super Bowl now while risking the chance to be contenders in the future. But that's what I'm talking about, Fred. That's not what we'd be doing right now. We're in an F those picks window right now because we don't need 7 players right now for this team. You know, I went over that roster. I showed you that roster for 2026. Most of the team that's 2024 is there already signed through 2026. We're not worried about money and cap when it comes to those 2 years. And we have cap space right now to do this. So we need to score on every possession and get a turnover. We will win the game. Paul Jones says, we're out Hutch, Davenport, and Pecco. So don't be surprised if we get at least a mid-tier guy like Smith from Cleveland. It's true. It's true. And don't forget Kaminsky as well. Down Kaminsky. And Kaminsky we might be able to get back here by sooner than later. Yeah, there you go. Good morning, Lions, all the way, baby. 31-27. Danielson. What's up, Dan? What's up, Dan? Holmes won't make a move if it says Holmes won't make a move if until they see what they have in this game just before the trade deadline. Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Saturday morning rust. That's right. That's right. I added Saturdays this year because, the day before the show, a lot of things can happen. Mark says that, in my opinion, Crosby is better than Hutchinson. Trades are a gamble, just like the draft. Yeah, but the trades are less of a gamble because, in the draft, you're developing players. You're hoping that the potential's there. This is a finished product. Crosby's a finished product. You're going to bring him in here to this Lions team, and with Terrell Williams, the way that he coaches defensive linemen, it just fits. It really fits what Max Crosby is. And Crosby, you could say that he's better than Hutchinson, but I think it's lateral. I think that you look at, Aiden Hutchinson and you look at Max Crosby, it's like Max Crosby is Aiden Hutchinson with tattoos, like in an attitude. And, just kind of like the guy that was caught smoking in the back room in junior high school, and then the prep kid that was really, really good. And now they both have a chance to be on the same team. But we got a special guest in here, and we might be able to spend some time right here. But welcome, Joe Chat, to the show. How you doing, Joe?
What's up, man? How you doing? I'm glad I can make it.
I'm glad that you could too. I hope I didn't dig into any of what you guys got going on, because we should collab with Walt here. I sent him a message.
I know. They were having a fully loaded show, so I was like, I'll come on. I told them they'd come on, so it was fun. But no, I think there's a lot to talk about with this Lions game. So it's been fun. What you been talking about?
Well, I mean, the thing that just kind of looms over in the background, obviously, is replacing Hutchinson's production. Obviously, that's not going to be any type of effect in this game. So what do you think of this team Hutchinson-less? For sure. Obviously, they're not going to have any new people. What do you think of this game?
Well, there's two things I think about this game. I think the one thing you got to look at with this game is Sam Darnold. When he's not blitzed, he's a little bit different of a quarterback in terms of the way that he plays the game. If you allow him to sit back there all day long and figure out which way he's going to go, he usually makes a mistake. He's thrown interception every game this year, 4 or 5, I think it is. And the Detroit Lions have an interception in every game this year. So I'm not really worried about this week in terms of no Hutch. I'm not really worried about next week in terms of no Hutch. More the Packer game, because I think that's the game that you'll need a Hutchinson. But I imagine by that time they might get someone in a trade. That's my opinion.
Yeah. What do you feel about some type of trade? Is this a pipe dream with this Hutchinson Garrett talk, or is there any? 20% chance, I would think, would be a high chance for this to happen.
The Myles Garrett thing, the Max Crosby thing, those seem like pipe dreams in my opinion, because, well, first of all, if you're going to go for Myles Garrett, the issue with that is they're going to take a $28 million dead cap hit if they trade him. And the Browns are already $4 million over the cap next year, and they owe Deshaun Watson, who is absolute ass, they owe him $72.9 million next year. So there's no way that they can get under the cap by trading Myles Garrett. So their whole hope is to kind of restructure his deal, and then maybe they could trade him. But that's a pipe dream. And the Max Crosby, with the new ownership of Tom Brady, that'll be interesting. But I don't think they're going to get rid of Max Crosby. He's
stupid.
He's their franchise player. There's no way that they're going to go out into Las Vegas and not have a franchise player like Max Crosby. It just don't make much sense. And if you're a Lions fan, you're looking for someone that they could trade for. Harold Landry with the Tennessee Titans, which you'll see in a week. Carl Granderson from the Saints, especially the way they lost this week. and then Zadarius Smith. I think those are good. I think Detroit has a lot of in-house options too with Mekhi Wingo and Levi Onwuzurike and Isaac Awuku. So those are some good options. But you're not going to get over the loss of Hutchinson. It's just not going to happen. He was the best defensive player in the league this year. So
right,
it's a drop off. It is.
Yeah, I mean, and those two players are really the only players between Myles Garrett, Crosby, in my opinion, that could quote unquote replace the production. The other guys, we're looking for role players that you're looking for 2-3 guys to try to replace that production. And what do you think of the idea? And it's something I've been toying around with, hasn't been confirmed or anything that's out there, but like Aaron Glenn just kind of changing the defensive scheme because you're not going to have a Hutchinson out there. So what do you think of him going to more of a, linebacker based, of a 3-4 maybe alignment or, big nickel, small nickel?
Well, I think that's what he's going to do, to be honest. If we're going to be completely honest with each other, I think that's exactly what he's going to do. You look at the way that he played last year when they couldn't get a pass rush. Even with Hutchinson, they started blitzing more. And I think they are going to go to a 3-4 because, well, they have a multiple defense. So they can go 4-3 or they can go 3-4. But I think that they're going to go more of a 3-4 because you look at James Houston, he's not your prototypical defensive end. Trevor Nowaski, who can rush the passer, he's not your typical defensive end. To put Levi Onwuzurike or Mekhi Wingo out there with Lee McNeil, that would be pretty special. I think you're going to have to revamp your defense a little bit in the way that you kind of disturb the passer and everything, because I think they're going to go more blitz packages, because the way that they did last year when they couldn't get a pass rush, they went more blitz heavy, and that's what they were doing. So I think you could see the same thing happening this year. Like I said, you're not going to really losing a defensive player of the year candidate does not help. But the thing about Detroit this year compared to last year and the years prior is your secondary is pretty damn good. Your safeties that are in the back that are patrolling the center field, every quarterback that you play is going to have to realize that you're going to be going against two safeties who are elite at their position. They're number 1 and number 2 in terms of ball hawk rate. You can't really just throw a measly pass over the middle. You're going to get smoked.
Yeah, for sure. And really that 3-4 really suits a guy like James Houston a lot better too. And right now we're talking to Joe Chapp right here. He is with Detroit Lions News Podcast, along with us broadcasting live in the YouTube page, JC Sports Network. Hit that like button on whatever platform you're watching on right now, because we are the UDFAs of sports podcasting. That's right. That's right. And we really actually appreciate when you guys engage into the content right here, finding somebody in there to argue with in the comments that you disagree with, hitting like on there, because that moves us up in the algorithm and helps us reach more football fans. And if you just happened upon this show and you're not a football fan, then we appreciate it if you just go. You don't have to hit the like button. If you were looking for a knitting show, we're not a knitting show. You can move right on. You don't have to hit the like button. But if you like football, hit that like button and go over to the Detroit Lions News Podcast. Hit the like button on their page too, because we're all in this. We're all in this.
Yep. It's going to be a fun game Sunday. I think that Lions will win, but I'm a lot of people have this pipe dream about Max Crosby and Hendrickson and all that stuff, and Bengals aren't selling. I see a comment in the comment section about on the YouTube that side where they were talking about Bears trading for Crosby or Hendrickson. I don't think that's happening either. They're not going to trade. Hendrickson's not getting traded, and Crosby's not getting traded. So people need.
I didn't have any wheels for that. Honestly, when I heard the Myles Garrett type of thing, there's such a dumpster fire because of what you just explained. They're screwed either way. They can keep Myles Garrett or not keep Myles Garrett. They're going to be so far over. They're going to have to rip this Band-Aid off. I think what they're going to end up doing is, getting rid of Myles Garrett and all of their contracts just so they can have 1 year of who cares. I mean, Deshaun Watson's not going to have anybody, and then they'll be done with that contract. They're just going to lose all next year and get that number 1 draft pick and then start over in 2026. That's really their only choice.
It's a rough thing for the Browns because like I said, they're going to have to do something because they're over the cap right now. They can't restructure Watson's deal, so that's something to look at. They could restructure Garrett's deal, but then they'll take more dead cap in the future. They got to figure out something. And if I'm gonna look at the Browns as terms of let's trade for someone, I like Zadarius Smith there, and I like Owasu Kamara or whatever. But those are guys that like they're not much of they're not. Zadarius Smith is an older guy now, so it's whatever. If you're gonna look at a younger guy, look at Aziz Ojulari at with New York. He could be a fantastic pass rusher. He's been injured a lot, but that would be a good cheap option. But like you said, the Browns are in a rough spot right now. I don't know what they're gonna do. I don't think they know what they're gonna do, to be honest.
And there you go. Here's our guy, right? Here's our dude right there. Brad Holmes coming in there all cool and be like, hey, what's it going to take to get a Myles Garrett in here? I mean, I know you guys are in a bad way. I'm here to help you out, I mean, just the thought, like, and this is just my stupid brain working. They got me this week. Okay. Every week they put up some stupid trade thing about some trade, some guy. Oh, we're gonna go get Mike Evans or whoever the guy is. But this one actually got me when Max Crosby came out and said the things that he had said, and all of a sudden the light bulb went off. He don't want to be there. I know that he went to the owner and was just like, here, man, I can't stand looking at your haircut anymore. You got to get me out of here. I can't believe you just traded the best offensive player that we have. It's like, I don't believe in this team. If you don't believe in this team, get me out of here. Send me to a winner.
Yeah. And I think Max Crosby, that's going to be a situation that you're going to kind of see develop over the next couple of weeks. I think Brad Holmes played it right. He didn't jump into the pool and say, I'm going to go trade for someone right now. I'm going to kind of wait my turn and see what happens, because you never know what's going to happen towards the trade deadline. Because a lot of times, a lot of these teams, they'll come into this week, they're saying, oh, we're still alive. And then they lose. And then they're like, oh, okay, we're out. So we're going to start talking to people, figuring out what we're going to do. Like the Bengals, like if they lose to the Browns, they might start doing that too. So you never know. But the Raiders, it's going to be a simple fact of, do they think that Crosby is going to be someone that they're going to build around, which they could, but does he want to be there? Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. They should. But you never know with the Raiders. And their general manager, Tom Telesco, he got absolutely robbed by the Jets with Devontae Adams. Like, I can't believe it. I mean, obviously, Devontae Adams has a $37 million cap hit next year, so the Jets probably aren't going to keep him next year, but it'll be interesting what happens with the Raiders, because I think that whole regime could get broomed out this year. And I think that if that happens, the owner is going to be like, no, you're not getting traded until the offseason, until we get a general manager.
Yeah, well, they don't know what they're doing over there. And that's like, smell the blood in the water. Brad Holmes over there just like, rubbing his hands together. Let's go. Because if they are stupid enough, Joe, if that franchise is so idiotic that like they're going to be stupid enough to trade Max freaking Crosby out of anywhere. I mean, how could you even think about it? You top 5 pass rushers don't fall off trees, just like Dan Campbell said. You
don't usually see guys like that come available. I mean, let's look at the guy part. Like, no, they shouldn't. I mean, like, when's the last time you've seen a premier edge rusher get traded at a trade deadline? It doesn't. So why do you happen.
I'm licking my chops, Joe? Like, I'm like this isn't. It is somewhat of a pipe dream, but it was like a 0.002% chance of it happening a week ago, and now it might be like this might actually have a 10% chance of like getting some legs. And the thought of having Aiden Hutchinson and Max Crosby for 2025 and 2026 with Aleem McNeil and DJ Reader should frighten everybody. Never. I mean, has that ever happened where they've had 2 top 5 pass rushers on a team at the same time in their primes?
No, I don't think that's happened. And if that does happen, I mean, look out. Like, literally look out, because that's not something that you really want to see from a Detroit Lions team that has a great offense as well. So it's gonna be interesting. Like, I always tell people about Max Crosby, like, the next 2 weeks are gonna tell us a lot. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I look at with Max Crosby. And if you're gonna get a deal done, like Boomer Esiason said on the kickoff with Boomer and Valenti, he said that he doesn't see Max Crosby getting traded for more than a 1 and a 2 next year. So if that's the case, I'm all for it. I'll trade a 1 and a 2 right now. That's what I'll do.
I'm a little more on the. I was just going over this part right here. I brought up over the cap, and this is like, we have officially entered. And you agree with me or not, but I think that we've officially entered a F those picks window, because even if we have we have all these picks, we're going to pick these guys. These guys, aren't going to start, for one. Doesn't matter what round they're in. And in two, are they even going to make the team? Because look at these guys that we have, and we go over here to 2026. The whole offensive line's still here. You still got Anzalone, and you won't have DJ Reader at that point right there.
Right.
But you'll still have Aleem McNeil. You have all Gibbs, Campbell, Raymond, Glasgow, Arnold, Laporta, like all those guys. And even if you pick a guy in the first round, he's going to be sitting behind somebody somewhere.
Yeah.
So trading first round picks, even if it was 2 and, even a day 2 pick after that, it's like, it don't matter at this point. We need a player. We need a dog to come in that, that can fill that spot. You could take 2 first round picks 2 years in a row and they may not turn into anything, but here's a guy that is something. He's developed, that it's a finished product. You ain't got to do anything. You plug Max Crosby in and boom, you're going to get sacks in this defense.
Oh yeah. And here's what I want people to understand, just real quick. I want people to understand that if they did give up a first round pick and a second round pick, that's fine. I don't think you should go totally F them picks mode, but I think you should go, let's get what we can for the best player, because what player coming into the Detroit Lions is in the first or second round is going to become an instant impact like Max Crosby could potentially come, or Myles Garrett. You know what I'm saying? But what I like about this is, and this is what I always tell people, when you look at your general manager, how does he draft? If he drafts good in the first and second round, you got a good general manager. It's not great, but it's good. He missed up picks in this, third through seventh round. Okay. But with Holmes, he can get draft value out of guys in the third, the fourth, the fifth, the sixth, the seventh round. That's what he does. And he does pretty good in the UDFA market too. I think Isaac Owoku is a UDFA. I think, Trevor Nowaski, who they got back from Arizona, he's a UDFA, so he has a great look into what they have. You know what I'm saying? That's what I look at with the general manager. If you're gonna trade picks, you better be good in the third through seventh round, and I think Brett Holmes is that guy that could do that.
Yeah, and that's just it. It's like you're looking for, and you even saw it a little bit in this last draft. Everyone's like, oh, I can't believe you took Giovanni, man. It's like, you're going to love this pick when 2026 comes around and you're going, okay, or even next year with Kevin Zeitler not being there. You're going to love Colby Sorsdahl in the 5th round. You're going to love these guys next year because we know how to develop players.
Well, I think people need to realize when you draft in the draft, your goal is not to look for the present, okay? A lot of people, I think they confuse it for when you draft, you want the guy to be an instant contributor. That's not the way it should work. I mean, the way it should work is the way the Packers have been doing, and the Steelers have been doing, and the Patriots have been doing, and the 49ers have been doing. They develop their talent. That's what they do. If you look at Dre Greenlaw with the 49ers, he became an impact 2 years in. Derek Barnes did the same thing. They were drafted around the same time. Fred Warner, I mean, it took him 2 years to really become an elite linebacker. Then he took off. it takes time for these young kids to get in. And usually when you do get an instant impact guy, that's usually a guy that's pretty damn good throughout his career. But it's not like that. So if you think you're going to get instant impact from Giovanni Manu or, Chris Mahogany or even Sione Vaki, who they drafted in the 4th round, it's not going to happen. There's too many good players ahead of them. You're just hoping that they develop in a really good curve, and that's why you draft the players you do, because you're not drafting for the present day. You're drafting for the future as well.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
Yeah. But even the Sione Vaki thing, that was a pick that was very purposeful, right? You drafted him as a running, but you didn't draft him as a running back. You drafted him as a special teams guy.
Yep.
You knew that he was going to make the team as a special teams guy. And he does have these other skill sets. And he was good enough at being a running back that maybe in 3 years, you're going to be considering keeping him as a running back going forward. But, that's why you draft a special teamers guy in the 4th round, because where the hell else is he going to go?
No, and well, the other thing about Vaki is he takes up 2 positions. So you put him at running back, he's good. You put him at safety if you need to, he's there too. So he's played both positions. So that's that position versatility. So like I said, if you traded a 1st and 2nd round pick for someone like Garrett or Crosby, you'd be fine, because your guy who's drafting your talent is phenomenal.
Yeah, and here I'm with you. I'm with Thomas right here. This thing only got legs this week, as far as what I'm it's just, it all comes from the Crosby comment and the way that he said it. He doesn't usually say things like that, right? He said it was direct. It was on purpose. He was sending a message. I don't know what message that is.
Right.
Is he telling them that they, what does that even mean? He wants to win a title.
Mm-hmm. Well, the way I look at it, man, is like, I don't think Crosby's coming here either. I know you're right. You're right, Thomas. But I think the next 2 weeks are going to tell you what's going to happen in the trade deadline, because a lot of people, Pat Kerwin, Moving the Chains, always says this. He says the trade deadline should be pushed back because a lot of teams don't know what they are at this point in the year, especially November 5th. It should be pushed back to like the Tuesday before Thanksgiving. I agree with that. I think that if you're the Raiders, though, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to look at. Same with the Browns. You're going to have to look at a lot of stuff that you have going on with your cap and everything like that, and your financials. Crosby being in Vegas, that's huge. You obviously, if you're going to draft a quarterback this year, you're going to have to have some building blocks, and they don't have really much building blocks right now. So
that's true.
It's gonna be interesting what happens down the line, but I don't think Crosby and Garrett will be in Detroit in the end. I think it'll be, if I had to name one player, I think it's gonna be Harold Landry, in my opinion.
Man, the thing is, this is one of the players, like, if Crosby goes anywhere, like if he stays in Las Vegas, no harm, no foul, or whatever. But if he ends up going somewhere else and that he was available, I would be disappointed that Brad Holmes didn't trump that guy and just make sure, because I don't think he should be available at all. I think they're idiots, like that, absolute idiots, if they even let him get out of the building. But
no, I agree with it. The only difference here, though, is like, okay, like, I know last year, this is what I was told by some people that are in the know. Last year, I know for a fact that Brad Holmes wanted Montez Sweat. I know that for a fact. I know he floated out a 2nd or 1st round pick because he wanted Montez Sweat that bad. Issue was Martin Mayhew didn't want to do business with him, who was the former general manager of the Detroit Lions. And if that's the case, then okay, fine, I could deal with that. But if you don't even do your due diligence and do something, that's where I can't deal with it. But I don't think Brad Holmes is like that. Brad Holmes, he's always looking for ways to improve, in my opinion.
Paul Jones in the comments right here says that Raiders really like Hooker. And
no,
you don't think so?
No, because look at it. They're probably gonna be picking in the top 5 of the draft. They're gonna get a chance to either pick Shedeur Sanders, who we all know he's all right, but his dad comes with a baggage. Carson Beck, Quinn Ewers, like they could pick a lot of good players. So they're not really worried about Hooker. Like, okay, I know Lions fans love the idea of Hendon Hooker and how good he is. As someone who watched Tennessee football in conjunction, Hendon Hooker is not really a starter. He's more of your Teddy Bridgewater type. Okay. So, like, the fact that people keep pushing him into a trade, if the Raiders like Hendon Hooker, fine, make the trade. But I don't think they like Hendon Hooker that much. I think they know that their quarterback's going to be coming through the draft. And I know that their owner, who just has 10% of their stake right now, Tom Brady, I know he's going to be pushing for a quarterback in the draft. So that's where you go. Because if you get, let's say that you did trade for, let's say the Raiders did trade for Hendon Hooker, okay? They got to pay him in a year. They got to pay him in a year. So you're going to pay him starter. Well, yeah. Well, after this year, it'd be like next year. You got to get an extension done because it's a second-round pick or third-round pick. So,
well, you can start the extension stuff next year. I mean, I can see that, but he hasn't done anything yet, so I doubt that they would, do the early guy like they did with Amon-Ra.
Well, the reason you would do the extension is you're trying to do like you did with, like, for instance, the way that God, who was
or Sewell? My bad.
Well, it's the way you're trying to do is you're trying to kind of like make him to where he's cheap the next couple years. So if you thought he was really good, you extend him and you kind of like let it roll for 2 years, like a 2-year extension, and then he plays himself into another contract. That's the way it looks at.
Yeah, it would be too early. I mean, Paul's brought this up. He loves to bring up the Hendon Hooker as a trade piece, and I do believe that he's more of a trade piece than he would have been like last year. And return on investment is right now. I think you could probably get a 3rd-round pick if you actively and get your money back. But if you wait, your return on investment, if you let him go through this year, let him go through another training camp, let him have another, another preseason where he's just lighting up 3rd and 4th string defenses, then his value is going to go up. If you remember the Matt Flynn days where he has one game with 5 touchdowns, all of a sudden they're trading a 2nd and 3rd round pick for this quarterback that just developed through a training camp. And Hendon Hooker is going to be worth, I think that when Brad sells him, and this is my opinion, and I'll stick to it, probably sometime in the 3rd or 4th year, and they're going to sell him for a day 1 pick and maybe other picks on top of it because they're going to develop him, and he's going to have a lot of hype, and somebody's going to overpay for him because quarterbacks are important.
I don't really believe that there's ever going to be a time where he gets a day 1 pick for Hendon Hooker, like day 1, maybe day 2, like a 2nd or 3rd round pick. But besides that, no. Like, I've watched Hendon Hooker enough to know who he is and know what he is at Tennessee, and he played in a 1-read offense, which is fantastic for quarterbacks because they don't have to do much of like the reading, the play coverages. And Tennessee has done a really damn good job at disguising the way that their quarterbacks don't have to really read the coverages. So that's one of the things I look at with Hendon Hooker. Like, I know that I always call him Oppo Goff. Okay. He throws the bomb. He cannot place the ball in short intermediate routes. He struggles with that. He struggled with it because Jalen Hyatt and Cedric Tillman had to, help him out a couple times with the way that they caught the ball. That's what I look at with Hendon Hooker. He struggles with certain parts of the game. So it is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, and that's good. The thing is like I think that they can get more. They can get more than what they paid. I think a 3rd round pick. It's almost like you take a chip and you're getting that return on investment. It's just got to be more than a 3rd round pick, right? Other than that, you just let the guy go into the free agency, and then once somebody else signs him and you don't replace him, then you get the compensatory 3rd. Either way, I think that game starts this year where Brad's really going to start using these compensatory pick things.
I think this year, if you wanted to sell Hendon Hooker, this is not the year because the quarterbacks that are coming out are pretty good. Next year is the year to do it because there's not really many quarterbacks coming out. I know Harpazzo in the YouTube comments or whatever, he says Hendon is a day 1 pick. He's a very good quarterback. there's a lot of good quarterbacks that get day one picks and they're awful. Okay, Trevor Lawrence.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like being a day one pick doesn't mean anything. It's more about your skill set. If your skill set matches the NFL game, you're going to be fantastic. Look at Brock Purdy. He played at Iowa State. Iowa State was more of like this. They kind of like it's a pro offense. So if you go to Iowa State, you're playing a pro offense. Brees Hall went there. Kohler went there. Brock Purdy went there. You start to see some similarities, and then you go to like teams like Cal, like they produced Aaron Rodgers, Jared Goff, like those type of things. Being a day one pick doesn't mean anything. Is Hendon Hooker a very good quarterback? He was a very good quarterback in college. Is he going to be a good quarterback in the NFL? Remains to be seen. But what you see in college, like I watched him a ton, so I would know. He struggles with placing the ball in certain places. And if you're talking about what's the biggest part of a quarterback in terms of the way that you play the game, it's ball placement. If you can't place the ball in the right area, we see with Jared Goff all the time. The reason Jared Goff is so successful is because he can place the ball in a great place for JMO or St. Brown or Laporta to get some yards after the catch. That's why he's so good. We're seeing with Tom Brady too.
He gets through his reads really, really fast. But the thing is with these developmental players, and I agree with Paul on this part, is Detroit is really good at developing the players. And I understand coming from a read one offense, and that's something that you got to work out of the person. And you saw it during training camp where he struggled with some of that stuff, but you also saw the progression where it was almost like he was getting better, not just game to game, but maybe even like within the game, play to play. You could see it turning on for him. So right now it would be too fast because there's not enough tape out there for a team to want to. They're not going to give you a first round pick for for potential. They want to see him go through another training camp, and when we get into preseason next year, if he lights it up,
if he lights it up, they're gonna be like, all right, let me take a chance. Yeah, exactly. That's then you're in because people are desperate for quarterbacks. Look at around the league. Like the league sucks in terms of quarterbacks. It really does. Trevor Lawrence, who was supposed to be this, savior of the franchise, sucks. Tua can't stay healthy. Justin Herbert, he's been pretty decent, but he's whatever. But you look at some of these quarterbacks coming across the league, like it's awful. Like we have guys like Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold who've made reclamations on their career, like Jared Goff. But besides that, like you look across the league and like half the league needs a quarterback. Like the Saints need a quarterback. The Panthers need a quarterback.
They're misses. Most of them are misses, Joe. Like I mean, people don't realize that. It's like just because you draft a quarterback in the first round doesn't guarantee you nothing. It's just like you may have a better chance. I mean, but look at Matt Flynn. He goes over there for a second and a third round pick, and it plays in Seattle, and Russell Wilson wins the job.
Yeah,
it's like
well, look at it like this: Robert Griffin was the first round pick, and then Kirk Cousins took his job. So that's the way it goes. It's you when you draft
like that.
Oh my God. Quarterbacks are the weirdest. They're the weirdest dynamic in sports because, like, I heard a lot of people tell me a couple years ago Jordan Love wasn't going to be good. I told people Jordan Love was going to be good because I watched him at Utah State and he was really effing good. I said that kid's going to be fantastic. If he goes to the right place, he's going to be fantastic. He did go to Green Bay and that sucks, but a guy like JJ McCarthy, like I think he can be good with Minnesota. Like how is it not hard to be good with a guy like Justin Jefferson? It's all about where you go and the coaches that you go to.
Hell yeah, it is.
So if like Hendon Hooker, like he's got Mark Brunell as his quarterback coach. That's a really good quarterback coach, and he's got Ben Johnson as his offensive coordinator. Those are really good coaches. But if you go and you take Hendon Hooker and you put him in a place like Vegas. He's not going to be the same quarterback. Like they don't have anybody to throw to. So like, it's just like, where do you put this guy? And like, if you're a team, like, do you draft a quarterback in the first round because you think that's the right way to do it? Or do you go and you try to do like a Hendon Hooker or, Jake Hayner, who's playing for the Saints? I mean, we've seen Spencer Rattler Thursday against, with the Saints and the Broncos, and he looked awful. So, it's kind of like these first round quarterbacks, they have some talent, you know what I'm saying? But they just, a lot of them really struggle coming in, and if they don't have the right coaching, right at the hop, they're done.
Yeah, and don't matter. And it don't matter at the Raiders. Honestly, they can trade for Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
It ain't gonna matter because their team is run like a dumpster fire.
Yep.
And that's just what's gonna happen. You know,
And I saw a guy in the comments, Brian Ty or whatever, he says, but if you don't win a Super Bowl with Goff, do you trade away your future athletic quarterback who has sat behind Goff? That's why Jordan Love was so good. Jordan Love was a lot younger than Hendon Hooker. Hendon Hooker is going to be like 29 and when Jared Goff's contract is able to get out of. I don't know if you want a 29-year-old rookie quarterback. Like, he would potentially be just a rookie quarterback because he has never played a regular season game.
Yeah, but it's still being developed does hold some value in there. Like, I would rather have a developed 29-year-old quarterback that's never played just because he sat behind a starter than to take a rookie at 24 years old that you have no idea. You know,
it depends on the rookie. I mean, if you said right now, like if you said 2 years from now, you could draft a guy like who's a good freshman quarterback, like a Dante Moore or Bryce Underwood, right? Bryce Underwood's he's a big time recruit in Michigan right now, #1 quarterback prospect in the nation. I would say take Bryce Underwood because he's got the talent and he's young. You know what I'm saying? Those are the type of things that you gotta decipher. Like, every team in the NFL is like looking at it like, oh, we want this young quarterback, but then they don't insulate their young quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So it really don't matter. It's funny the way that people put this out there, like the whole like Hendon Hooker thing, because I think Hendon Hooker is a really good quarterback. I think he can become a really good backup quarterback. I don't think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL, to be honest, but he could potentially be it if he stays with Detroit. But
hey, we don't need him to be. We just need somebody else to think that he is and give us first and second round picks for him. And
I love what was it?
You like that?
I love what Bill Polian said, the former Indianapolis Colts general manager. He said that you always love when you get a useful idiot to come trade for your stuff.
Yes,
because they will give you something that you know. It's like if you're selling a car and you're like, you know, this car is garbage, right? You're like, this car is absolute junk, and this guy's like, I'll give you 10 grand, bro. I wanted 4, but I'll take 10 grand right now.
That's right. You're just trying to keep your composure and not show them that you're really, really excited.
It's like you're selling some cheap guitar and the guy's like, is that a Gibson? You're like, yeah, it's a Gibson.
Yeah. I'll give you 12 grand for it right now. Oh shit, man!
I was playing for 100, bro.
or we could relate it to fantasy football. Hey, man, man, Christian McCaffrey shit the bed, dude. I'm getting rid of him. What do you want?
Hey, there was a guy in my fantasy league a couple years ago, Dynasty League. He said he couldn't take this Justin Jefferson dropping passes. I was like, all right, I'll take him. You know what I'm saying?
Just give me the money. Just give me the money. It's easy money.
You know who I traded for Justin Jefferson with that guy? James White. Most lopsided trade I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh, Smoking Jeremy B's in the comments. He says, I'll slander Dion. He said, don't pick me, Detroit. I'll never take the field for you. Okay. Dion.
Well, you know, Deion Sanders it was, as much as people love to talk about Deion Sanders, terrible recruiter in college, and like his kids, like to be honest, like him saying that he's not going to go anywhere but the Dallas Cowboys, the Vegas Raiders, or this and this. I'm like, all right, pick where you want to go. I mean, that's fine, but I mean, you're picking all teams that like everyone's gonna know what you're doing. I mean, it's like, whew, all right, dude.
I mean, I don't understand this new mentality nowadays. That's why I love my Lions team. I now when I watch drama that unfolds with these other teams that are going on, it just makes me feel good that we don't have that. I mean, I know that we got to replace Hutchinson, but it's not like we have to worry about our locker room falling apart behind with that, because there's leadership that's in there, and there's not BS going on and holdouts, and
that's the biggest thing about this team. Like, that's why I don't really worry about them, because of the coaching, the leadership, and everything in the room. I don't really worry about it. If they didn't have Dan Campbell, be a little bit different story. But you got to be honest with yourself. Like, this Detroit team is more adapted to take challenges right now than they've ever been. Like, yes, losing Hutchinson is going to hurt immensely, but when you lose Hutchinson and then you have a guy like Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph over the middle that could intercept passes, Terrion Arnold's going to come into his own. Carlton Davis has been better than people think, and then you got a Meek Robertson who Brett Holmstein, who's been really, really good. Those are going to be the key pieces moving forward.
So Brian Ty says that people are panicking because we laid an egg in Frisco last year, and with Hutch going down, doesn't matter how people people feel any easier. We've been riding the next man up wave since we were 3-13, and we have players on our defense that can play. Love that comment, Brian. I love that comment. It's creating poise in here, because people love to overreact.
Yeah,
they love to make you think that, oh, you're never going to be able to do it, and there's so many players that we're not ever going to talk about that make an impact on the game.
I just like that they can go into I like that they can go into a year and they know that, like, one player going down is not going to really hurt the Detroit Lions, because you look across the NFL, like, Detroit's not going to be the only team that's going to suffer a major injury. So eventually it's going to even out, and the best teams will be the best teams at the end. That's usually the way it works. And yeah, Patrick Mahomes being good is what gets the Chiefs to the Super Bowl, and the 49ers being good. But I do think that with the way that Detroit's set up, I think they have more talent than they've ever had. They can deal with an injury like this in terms of they can manage it. And I think Aaron Glenn's going to really show out in terms of the way he's going to scheme over Hutch being gone. That's what I think is going to happen.
Jeremy B says that this is the deepest talent-wise that we've ever had. Also, most of Levi's sack production has happened at D end. I like that comment right there, because it is the deepest team. And if you're one of the people that believe that one guy that could sink this team, it's like, then you haven't really been following the team all that close, because it's the depth is the reason why this team is so strong. The depth is why the team made it last year, even though we didn't have the high end talent popping yet. We had the depth. We were able to sustain injuries in the middle of the season. It's like we lost some of the games in the middle of that season last year when we had like 4 offensive linemen down. You had Colby Sorsdahl playing right tackle when he practiced at guard all year. It's like we got our depth tested last year, and it's getting tested again. You are not going to replace Aiden Hutchinson, but you can replace the production.
That's exactly it.
You can take 3 guys. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson played 90% of the snaps. You're not going to find another guy that's going to do that unless you get Max Crosby or Myles Garrett. You're going to have to divvy this out, like you were saying. Those different linebackers, you're running in a 3-4. You're sending different blitz schemes. You move Levi Onwuzurike to the outside because he was getting some pass rush from the outside. You go big. Josh Pascal on the other end with Aleem and Reeder. That's a pretty good line.
Yeah, it's you got a good offensive line, like Jeremy said in the comments. This is the Levi's sack production has came at defensive end. He ran a 3-4 at he was in a 3-4 at Washington. So I would be interested to see how Aaron Glenn does a 3-4, because he has a multiple type defense where he can go 4-3, 3-4, 4-2-3, something along those lines. So if you're gonna do that, I mean, Levi's played defensive end, so has Mekhi Wingo in a 3-4. So if you really want to boost up production, that's one way you could do it.
Yeah, and then you have your running linebackers. Well, you got your Jack and your Sam on You know, with your pass rushing linebacker in a 3-4, Brian Branch, you know, and some of our secondary players can play that other linebacker role. They can go small with their 3-4 alignments, which I guess it would be a 4-2-5 at that, or a 3-2-5 or 3-3-3-2-6.
Yeah.
What do you? But that's just because you have guys like Brian Branch and Amik Robertson that are so versatile that, you know, he can play linebacker, he can play that either safety position. You can move them around in those alignments, and I think that's what Aaron Glenn's going to be doing in this game tomorrow.
No, I agree. And then Jeremy said in the comments, I like it. I like this one. Nowaski at the Sam linebacker spot, the way he played last year. You know, the one thing that really does hurt Detroit, and this is kind of underappreciated, is Derek Barnes being out. Derek Barnes being out.
Yeah.
You've lost 5 of your front 7. You lost Kaminsky, Hutch, Davenport, and then you lost Derek Barnes. So it's not easy, but the lucky thing is this is where you're seeing that depth really does play a role, and you're lucky that Brett Holmes actually prioritized depth at the linebacker and the defensive line position, or else you'd be screwed right now.
You are watching Lion Villain Report. We're going a little bit over today because we got Joe Chapp in the house from the Detroit Lions News Podcast and the JC Sports Network. Right there. We are brought to you. We are powered by NFL Shop, the affiliate marketing partners. You can use our link in the comments, save up to 30% on your order, and you would be supporting this page by doing so. And we appreciate that because we are the UDFAs of sports podcasting. Yes, we are live 6 days a week. In the morning at 10 a.m. And then we have Monday night with Main Event Mike coming in with the Main Event Football Show at 7 p.m. right before Monday Night Football. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel right there at Lions Villain Squad. And we appreciate everybody for coming on here today. We'll get some of this background music going while we're wrapping this up, Joe.
Yep.
So nice to have you on here, man. Like, I've been wanting this for a while. I know our paths, it's been hard to cross because we're both busy people, but I want to do this again. This was fun.
I was planning on coming on Thursday, but you know what happened? I had no internet. So I was like, all right, cool. That's cool. But yeah, it's always fun being on with you. It's great to actually be on with you for an extended period of time too. And I was glad I could make it too.
We're going to bite a kneecap off.
That's what we're going to do. We're going to do that. The Lions are 4-1. You got the Vikings at 5-0. Life is good if you are a fan of any of the teams in the NFC North. So make sure that you join us on Monday for our Monday show. That's the review preview, where we're going to review the entire week 7 shows or all these games right here, and then we're going to preview the Monday Night Football game like we like to do. And Christopher Walken was here to say that you should be watching the Lions Villain Report. It's at 10 a.m. You should watch it. It's good. It could be good for you. Good for you. Good for you. It could be good for your life. He's watching. Hey. Oh wait, we have Matt LaFleur on line 1. Wow, that sounds like some good insight right there by Matt LaFleur.
Great insight. Yep, that's gonna be something that we're gonna look at. It is funny looking at Dak, though. You know, he's just a poor quarterback.
So the questions that we want to have answered before I let you guys go, we're looking for top pass rushers, and if you believe in that trade, who is it? Who is it that you want? What do you think it's going to cost? Throw that into the comments. And we are doing this Monday through Saturday at 10 a.m. Please go out there, follow the page. We're approaching 56,000 Joe, I think that you're like 78,000, 70. You're approaching 80,000, brother.
Yep.
That's awesome.
That's gonna be awesome.
So we have quite the network in between both of our pages right here. Over 125,000, 130,000 Villains and Lions fans that are out there. So make sure you go out, you subscribe, you do that thing. It's faith, family, and football on our program right here. We believe it's got to be in that order. We use football to spend time with our family. We use football to create memories. We don't let football use us. And may the Lord bless you. May the Lord keep you. May the Lord shine his face upon you until we meet again for the Lion Villain Report. God bless.
You know the lies told that you never make it, hopeless so it seems. Eyes closed, hands open wide to embrace your dreams. Sometimes you gotta take a loss just to get the win. Like lots of sin was popping in like oxygen when boxes wet. Focus on the mental, never lose like a smooth instrumental. Better choose on the move in a pinto. Choose when I get to, never lose smooth on the move, but it's simple. Never give up and we running it maybe. We just keep winning, we conquering daily. Envision that pay me is never to sway me. Indigenous, maybe we winning this crazy. Your opportunity, your opportunity, your opportunity.